Good morning, fifth grade. It's Miss Diddle. I'm here for your weekly overview of what we're going to be talking about in STEM this week. So, this week we're going to be talking more about Newton's three laws of motion. And with this video, I'm going to kind of introduce you to those three laws of motion. And then later this week, I'll post individual videos on the information that you guys need to know so that for each individual law. So, it's a little bit easier for you to remember than kind of just throwing all the information at you at once. But I just want to kind of give you an overview of what the three different laws of motion are so you're aware of them. So the first one is law of inertia. So this is when an object at rest will remain at rest until an external force acts on it. So meaning like in the image to the right, there's a soccer ball there. That soccer ball would stay in the same spot if it wasn't for the external force, the soccer cleat, coming and moving in. So if that ball was sitting there, I know one of you would go kick it. And since you kicked it, it's not at rest anymore. And that's the same, it's kind of like opposites too, where an object in motion will remain in motion until an external force acts on it. So if the soccer ball was rolling, it would stop if I put my foot in front of it, meaning my external force of my foot would stop it in its tracks instead of letting it remain in motion. So the first one is law of motion, or law of inertia, sorry. And the two key words I want you to pull from that are inertia and velocity. And we'll be talking about those in greater detail in the video for Newton's first law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion is force equals mass times acceleration. So the greater the mass of an object, the more force needed to accelerate that object. So meaning to speed it up or slow it down. In the image to the right, you can see that there's two guys there. They're hitting two different types of balls. One's hitting a baseball and one's hitting a bowling ball. Well, if you know that a bowling ball is a lot heavier than a baseball, you're going to have to use more force to get that base or that bowling ball to go farther. So, just knowing the mass of objects will help you know the force needed to accelerate that object, meaning you have to speed it up or slow it down. So there's a formula there that we can talk about for finding the law of force. And then we'll go into greater detail. We'll be doing some activities this week to kind of get you guys to really understand how mass and acceleration help you find the force needed. The third law of motion is paired force. So for every action, basically a force, there is an equal or opposite reaction. So if you were skateboarding, as the image shows right here, when the two people put their forces together, so they're both forcing themselves forward, their force that they're using, their action, it's going to cause them, their reaction is going to be to go backwards because it's causing them to move in opposite directions. So since both of their forces are in front of each other, those forces are going to combine, and then it's going to cause them to move in opposite directions, which is showing in the photo. They're they look like they're high-fiving, and then because their force is combining, that the motion is going to make them go back, as you can see in the third image. So the three laws of motion, we have the law of inertia, the law of force, and then the law of action and reaction. So that kind of just gives you an overview. We'll talk more in detail about these three laws of motion. Today for your assignment, I want you to go into Google Classroom and answer the 5 pre-survey questions on Newton's laws of motion, and then you're good for today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you online tomorrow. Bye, guys.